I honestly, I wouldn't mind at this point if Caitlyn just started her villain arc. She needs to start putting her foot down because this, like, some of this stuff is getting a little wild. She comes into the WNBA, her biggest life dream to play professional basketball. She comes into the WNBA. She gets a special whistle the opposite way because she's getting fouled and flagrant fouled, and just the defense that they're playing on her is actually insane. Yet despite all that, has an incredible rookie season. And then on top of that, people are using her name for their hidden agendas on both sides. People are just using Caitlyn's name. And then if she says something, it's not enough. If she doesn't say anything, she never wants to speak out about anything.
Caitlin Clark has finally had enough, and this time she's not staying silent. The WNBA may have tried to capitalize on her fame and influence, but the league's biggest star has drawn a firm line. Clark's recent comments about Commissioner Cathy Engelbert have sent shockwaves through the basketball world. The tension between players and WNBA leadership has been brewing for weeks, and it finally erupted after Nafisa Collier's explosive exit interview, a 6-minute segment that shifted all attention away from the finals. Instead of fans talking about the Aces or Mercury, the conversation turned to Collier's accusations that Engelbert lied about Clark. During her interview, Collier revealed that Engelbert once told her, Caitlin Clark should be grateful for the WNBA because without it, she wouldn't have all those endorsement deals. That single remark set the internet ablaze, with fans outraged and players speaking out. In response, Engelbert held a lengthy press conference before Game 1 of the finals to do damage control, but instead of easing the tension, it only made things worse.
You've continued to express that you're disheartened by the characterization of your conversation with Nafisa Collier. This began seeking clarity. Did you in fact say that Caitlin Clark should be grateful she makes $16 million off the court because without the platform that the WNBA gives her, she wouldn't make anything? And do you actually feel that way, that without this platform, players like Caitlin Clark wouldn't be making what they do off the court?
Yeah, obviously I did not make those comments. Caitlin has been a transformational player in this league. She's been a great representative of the game. She's brought in tens of millions of new fans to the game. Proud of what she's put on the court. Unfortunately, the injuries held her back from a full season this year. But again, I'm not going to get into every counterpoint. It's not productive here. We're here to celebrate the WNBA finals. I think what Indiana just did was amazing with all the injuries they had and the everything they faced this year, bringing that to a Game 5 in overtime. But yeah, as I said, there's a lot of inaccuracies reported out there.
Cathy Engelbert denied ever making that comment about Caitlin Clark and went a step further by suggesting that Nafisa Collier's version of their private conversation was inaccurate, essentially calling Collier a liar on national television. That's when everything began to spiral. The issue isn't just about two people disagreeing. Collier isn't some random player airing frustrations online. She's one of the WNBPA's vice presidents, directly involved in collective bargaining talks that shape every player's salary, schedule, and benefits, meaning this dispute has serious implications for the league's leadership and its relationship with the players.
In the day, she's worried about her. In all of her statements, it's all like, well, I got us here and I should. Cathy, no one cares. Literally, no one cares. Like how you're sitting right there, that's how we feel every time she speaks. Every time she speaks, us as players, that's how we feel.
So when Cathy Engelbert publicly dismissed Collier's statements, it wasn't just a slight against one player. It was an insult to a union leader. That's the moment Caitlin Clark decided she'd had enough. Until now, Clark has stayed out of controversies, focusing on her game and steering clear of politics while the noise swirled around her. But this time, when reporters asked her about Collier's comments, she dropped a line that stopped everyone in their tracks. I think Fee made a lot of valid points. Boom. Just like that, Clark took a side, and the entire conversation around the league shifted overnight.
I mean, first of all, I have great respect for Fee, and I think she made a lot of very valid points. And, I think what people need to understand, we need great leadership in this time across all levels. This is straight up the most important moment in this league's history. Well, this league's been around for 25 plus years, and this is a moment we have to capitalize on. So that's honestly what I would say. I think there's, Fee said it all with what she said. And, I think the points she made were...
And then came one sentence, and the league went silent. That line wasn't random. It was a clear signal that Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA, was choosing sides. And honestly, Can you blame her? This is the same league that's used her name to sell tickets, boost TV ratings, and push brand partnerships, all while letting her get tossed around on the court like it's a wrestling ring. Let's not forget those early games in her rookie season. Caitlyn was fouled harder than anyone else in the league. She got shoved, hacked, elbowed, and the refs just kept swallowing the whistle. People called it physical play, but if those same hits happened to LeBron James or Stephen Curry, we'd be watching free throws every 5 minutes. So, when the commissioner finally had the chance to prove she cared about player safety, but instead used Caitlyn's name to polish the league's image, it's easy to see why Clark lost her patience. Now here's where it gets wild. Right after Cathy Engelbert's press conference, she said she'd reached out to Nafisa Collier to schedule a private meeting to clear the air. But before that could even happen, Collier canceled. She flat out refused to meet. ESPN broke the story, and the craziest part? Engelbert found out from the media, not from Collier herself. That's how bad things have gotten. The league's own commissioner is learning about canceled meetings from Twitter alerts. And this is where Caitlyn Clark comes back into the story. Because after Collier canceled that meeting, several players, including some of Clark's own teammates like Lexi Hull, publicly backed Collier, saying she wasn't wrong and that the league's leadership had completely lost touch with reality. Caitlyn didn't post a full statement, but her actions said it all. She stopped reposting WNBA content, didn't mention the finals, and liked multiple fan tweets criticizing league leadership. And fans noticed. People started calling it Caitlyn Clark's silent protest. And honestly, that's exactly what it feels like. This isn't just a normal disagreement. This is the biggest star the WNBA has ever seen, sending a warning to the very league that made her famous. You can't keep using me while disrespecting everyone around me. And before anyone says she's overreacting, let's look at the bigger picture. The WNBA is in the middle of the most important CBA negotiation in its history. Player salaries are on the line, and the possibility of a lockout is very real. Ownership groups are scrambling to balance the books while trying to pay their stars what they deserve. The problem? Two of the players representing the union in these talks, Nafisa Collier and Breanna Stewart, are also co-founders of Unrivaled, an alternative off-season league. That's where the conflict of interest comes in. If the WNBA fails to reach a deal and the league locks out in 2026, Unrivaled wins big, because players would have no choice but to play there to make money. So of course, owners and executives are suspicious. They believe Collier and Stewart could secretly benefit from a WNBA shutdown, and when the commissioner gets tangled in a public feud with one of them, it only makes the situation look worse. That's where Caitlyn Clark's frustration comes in. She's watching both sides, the commissioner and the players, turn her name into a pawn in their power struggle. She's just trying to train, recover from her injury, and prepare for next season, yet every headline somehow circles back to her. She didn't ask to be part of this fight, but now she's at the center of it. Think about it. Every single storyline in this league somehow loops back to Caitlyn Clark. Ticket prices, TV ratings, sponsorships, even the CBA negotiations. Everything revolves around Caitlyn Clark. And yet, she's being told she should be grateful for what the league gives her. That's laughable. The truth is, the WNBA needs Caitlyn Clark far more than she needs them. Her games shatter viewership records. Her jersey sales lead the league, and even during her injury, she generated more headlines than the actual finals. Yet the league still hasn't figured out how to protect her on the court or support her off it. Fans are catching on. You can feel the shift online. Frustration is boiling over from both casual fans and loyal followers. Everyone's realizing that the WNBA has one of the biggest marketing gifts in sports history and somehow keeps finding new ways to waste it. Here's the irony. Caitlyn Clark isn't asking for special treatment. She just wants fairness. She wants to play the game without being dragged into constant drama, media chaos, and politics. But every time she tries to move forward, the league pulls her right back into the spotlight, not for her talent, but for controversy. And now, that quiet patience she once had is gone. This isn't the smiling rookie from 2024 anymore. This is the veteran who's realized that staying silent doesn't solve anything. By even slightly supporting Collier, Caitlyn Clark just sent the WNBA a message: you're not untouchable. And the fallout is only beginning. Players are splitting into sides, fans are arguing online, and even former stars are calling this the most embarrassing stretch in WNBA history. Meanwhile, Cathy Engelbert is still pretending everything's fine, holding scripted press conferences about player alignment and stakeholder engagement, while the league she runs teeters on the edge of chaos. It's wild. Just a few months ago, people were calling this the WNBA's golden age. Expansion teams, record ratings, and new investors flooding in. Now people are wondering if there will even be a 2026 season. And let's be honest, that's not on the players, that's on leadership. You can't keep dismissing legitimate player concerns and then expect them to show up smiling for media day. You can't have the most famous athlete in women's basketball feeling alienated from her own league and still expect fans to buy into the one big family marketing pitch. Cathy Engelbert's denial might have been the final straw, because even if she didn't actually say what Collier claims, the fact that no one believes her says it all. Her credibility is gone. And the worst part? It's not even about who's right anymore. It's about how disastrously this was handled. The WNBA let a private disagreement turn into a public soap opera right in the middle of its finals. And now, every headline about women's basketball isn't about who's winning, it's about who's lying. That's why Caitlin Clark's quiet but firm stance hits so hard. She's not ranting, she's not posting long statements. She's letting her silence do the talking. And that silence is louder than anything Cathy Engelbert could ever say from a podium. The fans feel it. The sponsors feel it. Even ESPN anchors are tiptoeing around it because no one knows how to spin this disaster anymore. We're witnessing a real-time power shift in the WNBA. Players are realizing they don't need the commissioner's approval to have a voice. And Caitlin Clark, whether she wanted it or not, has become the symbol of that shift. Now that she's publicly shown support for Napheesa Collier, the league is in full-blown panic mode, and honestly, it should be. When your biggest star, the one single-handedly driving ratings and attention, starts showing signs of losing faith in leadership, that's not just a problem, it's a crisis. Fans aren't holding back either. Social media has turned Cathy Engelbert into public enemy number one, with massive threads calling for her firing and endless memes comparing her to the "this is fine" dog surrounded by flames. It's brutal, and that's the impossible position Caitlin Clark's trapped in right now. No matter what she does, someone's going to twist it. But the real takeaway isn't about who said what. It's about how completely the WNBA's leadership has lost control of the narrative. When even the most die-hard fans from opposite camps are agreeing that the league looks lost, you know it's bad. The optics are disastrous. Collier's comments, Clark's subtle response, and the commissioner's damage control tour have all blurred together into one massive PR meltdown. What should have been a moment to celebrate the growth of women's basketball has instead turned into a reminder that the league still doesn't know how to handle success or its stars.